Living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
In the United States, we waste roughly 60 million tons of food every year. With a glut of food going to waste, why then are so many wondering when they'll see their next meal? Food insecurity is a serious issue that faces many older adults, both right here in Montana and across the nation. Today's show is dedicated to discussing food insecurity and how this issue can be addressed. I'm your host, Lisa Sather. Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. Welcome back. I would like to introduce my first guests, Walter Hanley and Shauna Donaldson. Walter and Shauna are both with the Rocky Mountain Development Council based in Helena, Montana. Welcome to our show, both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So let's start out with each of you talking about the Rocky Mountain Development Council and your individual roles. I'd really like to hear about what you do there. Walter, let's start with you.
Yes. I'm the program director of nutrition transportation, the senior center, and commodities. We offer many nutrition programs, home delivered meals. Congregate meals is where people come into a site and have a meal, and then we do the commodities program, and we offer those programs in Broadwater, Jefferson, Lewis and Clark, Powell, and Marr counties. We serve really hundreds of thousands of meals every year. We also feed all the Head Start children in Whitehall, Townsend, and Helena. There's just a tremendous need for these nutrition programs. I can't tell you, amongst the children and adults, adults that are even under the age of 60, we come in touch with that are in need of food for various reasons. Older people, they're everywhere, and we find in some of the communities there's high populations, for instance, of cowboys or farm workers that worked all their lives, never paid into Social Security. They were paid cash. They were given their living quarters, so they don't have any of that stuff, and now they're out there trying to survive.
Sure.
And a huge problem with food insecurity. I mean, and there's lots of populations like that with women in railroad towns. Same thing, husbands have passed away and they never worked. And here they are, they get a small pension of $300 or $400, and that's it they have to live on per month. So our nutrition programs are a very valuable asset to all our communities. The commodities program is a program where we actually give people food. We give them a box of about 80 to 100 pounds of non-perishable foods every other month, and it really helps them out. We do about 700 in those counties, 700 people.
Great. Well, we'll get into some more details about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Shauna, tell us a little bit about what you do and maybe a little bit about the mission of the Rocky Mountain Development Council. I'd like to hear about that.
All right. So I am the nutrition program coordinator. So I work with all the programs that Walt directs. And with those programs, I do a lot of work. One big aspect of my job is the Meals on Wheels here in our area. So each person that comes on to Meals on Wheels, I talk with, I visit with, get them signed up, also find out kind of what their situation is, and I'm able to refer them on to other programs as well if they're eligible. So that's kind of what I do. Each day I go up into our daily dinner club and visit with our seniors up there and find out, get to know them, and also more about them and what they might need as well. So, and with Rocky Mountain Development Council, we're a community action agency. We are part of 10 community action agencies in Montana, and we are kind of our goal is to help those that need a hand up by helping them to get more self-sufficient and be able to provide for themselves.
Okay, Walter, so you mentioned food insecurity. You touched on that briefly just a minute ago. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what food insecurity is? Because I had not heard that term, and I think our viewers would really appreciate learning a little bit more about that.
Well, you know, there's people out there they don't have transportation to get food. They don't have the money to get the food. They don't have any social acquaintances or people, friends or families, believe it or not, that can help them out. I had a lady one time that lived in north of Lincoln, Montana, that I came across, who was, I believe she was 86 years old, and lived in a trailer home with a couple of big dogs. And I went to visit her to try to get her on our meals program, home delivered meals up there. And I found that her living quarters were extremely bad. The trailer house, the windows wouldn't close, no heat, no running water, no electricity. Mm-hmm. And I finally befriended her, and I was amazed. She did have a wood burning stove, but she couldn't produce heat with that because she was also blind.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
And she had no family. I mean, her husband was killed in the World War I, I believe, and she had these dogs and was out there blind. And I got her on our Meals and Wheels program through the Lincoln branch of our service, and actually brought her into town for our congregate meal once a month so she could get a little socialization and stuff. But
yes.
The people that were delivering the meals there actually told me that their animals had a better lifestyle than this woman had. It was absolutely unbelievable. And how she could survive being blind like that out there was incredible. And she would not move. There was no way anybody was going to move her out of there. And there's a lot of that goes on, an awful lot. And you know, people live in Montana, it's always us Montanans take care of everybody, and it doesn't happen here. Yeah. But if they want to come with me for a day or two in Shauna, they'll find out that it's everywhere. It's not just in Chicago
yes.
or New York or wherever. We have a lot of it, an awful lot, and it's really a sad situation. One of the things that it comes to my mind all the time that is sad is these people are alone and don't have anybody, and what they do is they get a pet, a dog or whatever, and it becomes their family.
Yes.
And the little bit of money they have, they're spending on the pet,
yes.
for vaccinations instead of their own money, buying food for the pet instead of buying food for themselves. Yeah. And I can totally understand it because that's their whole life.
That's right.
But it's such a sad thing that goes on.
Hold that thought. We're going to be right back after a quick break. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about available programs you can tap into in just a moment. Welcome back. We're continuing our discussion with Walter Hanley and Shauna Donaldson about food insecurity. Welcome back, both.
Thank you.
Yes. Shauna, let's start out by talking with you at this point. Try to help us understand more about the problem with food insecurity in Montana and what exactly the Rocky Mountain Development Council is doing to assist with that.
All right. So food insecurity is basically not having access to good, nutritious food. So a little bit different than hungry and hunger, but based around the same, information. So with food insecurity, they may not be able to access food because they live further out. They may live in a food desert, which might be, 10 miles from their local grocery store. They could live in the middle of town but not have that access to the grocery store.
Okay.
They also may have limited incomes, and with that, then they don't have access to that good, nutritious food to sustain themselves. And so with that, Rocky Mountain Development Council is able to help with those issues. We do have the Daily Dinner Club each Monday through Friday, where people can come and eat in the Daily Dinner Club and get a good nutritious meal for the suggested donation of $4 for seniors 60 and older. So if they can't afford that, whatever they can afford is accepted. Okay. We won't turn them away.
Sure.
We believe that seniors, that all people need access to good food, but also with seniors living on limited incomes, if they're not getting that good nutritious food, a lot of times that can add to illness and hospitalizations and that type of thing. If you can't get out and about, and with that, we do have a bus that can come and pick you up from your home in town and bring you to the senior center here in Helena, to the neighborhood center where we serve those daily dinner club meals. If you're not able to get out of your house, say you're wheelchair bound, or maybe it's just too hard in the winter with your arthritis getting out and about on the ice, we do have Meals on Wheels that is delivered to your home Monday through Friday. They come about the same time every day. It's a friendly face, a good nutritious meal, somebody to check up on your loved one, but they're also getting at least 1/3 of the daily nutritional requirements, and that we are required to meet those requirements. And so it's not just a soup and sandwich, it's main meals. You could have fish, chicken, sometimes it's casseroles. We also do fresh salads, fresh fruit with those, and they're great meals and a great way to get your nutrition, and that's also with the suggested donation of $4 for seniors 60 and older. And then with that, we also have our commodity food program that we serve every other month. And with that, you just have to meet the age limit of 60 or older. You need to be a resident of the state of Montana and meet the income guidelines. And I believe for one person, it's $1,370 a person. And if you make that or less, we can give you a box of food that's roughly 80 to 100 pounds of shelf-stable food, whether that's hot and cold cereal, canned fruits and vegetables, pasta, rice, shelf-stable milk, peanut butter and cheese, and that helps kind of stretch the food so that they can have more money in their pocket to buy the things that they might need.
That sounds wonderful. What areas do you all cover?
We cover Helena, East Helena. We serve the Helena Indian Alliance. We do Lincoln, Augusta, Boulder, Whitehall, Avon, Elliston, Townsend, and White Sulphur Springs, and everywhere in between.
So very far-reaching.
Yes, and we try. I know it's difficult to reach people in rural Montana, but we do our best job to get to those people. I've used snowmobile clubs, sheriffs, postmen, all kinds of different people to get meals to people, and the same with commodity programs and to get that food to them.
That's phenomenal.
If people just get a hold of me, we'll get them the food one way or the other.
Okay.
And don't worry about the cost of that. I mean, we're not concerned. We need people to donate, but if they can't afford, we want them to have food and eat. And so we're not that concerned about the $4 suggested donation. And it's an important part of things. But boy, if you're out there and you are not getting that nutrition, do call us, because we'll take care of you.
So let us know at this point then, kind of in wrapping things up, in the remaining couple of minutes of the show, if someone needs help, what can they do?
Call me.
Okay.
Or call Shauna, and
right.
we'll take care of them. But if you're out there somewhere, call your local senior centers. There's senior centers in all those towns, and we have cooks that are employed by Rocky Mountain Development Council that are very, very generous people, and they'll make sure that you're taken care of. They'll tell you about the meals programs, or whether you can get Meals on Wheels or you want them, or if you want a variety of congregate home delivered meals, the commodities program. And Rocky has a million other programs. Literally, we have weatherization programs, LEAP programs, housing programs, and all of our people are trained to tell people about these programs and how they qualify. The housing programs are huge right now. Housing is a big issue in our area, and Rocky's continuously financing and finding money and building housing projects around the communities for people. We have them in Boulder, Townsend, Augusta, many of them here in Helena. So it's a great thing. Some of them have food programs built into the housing projects. So there's a lot of resources out there other than nutrition, but that's our specialty, and we really want those people that need that to come and see us. I had a lady call me about 4 years ago about her mother who lives on the bottom of McDonald Pass and blind, and was falling over the cattle guard and wasn't getting nutrition, and they were going to move her into an assisted living house. We started delivering meals to her. She's still there 4 years later.
That's a success story for sure.
Incredible.
Yes.
I mean, and you know, it was out of our way. It was another 7 miles each way to get out there to get her that meal. But our delivery person takes her mail to her now, keeps her from falling in the cattle guard, keeps her in the house. I mean, it's super.
Great. Stay tuned to learn more about services available in Montana and why the Area Agency on Aging is a resource that everyone should know about. Welcome back. Walter Hanley is still with us, and I would now like to welcome our next guest, Jerry Lee Wilkerson from Area 4 Agency on Aging. Jerry Lee, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. So let's start out by telling our viewers what the Area 4 Agency on Aging is and your role specifically.
The Area 4 Agency on Aging houses some resources for seniors and adults with disabilities, such as we have SHIP counselors, which are state health insurance programs counselors, and we have information and assistance counselors, kind of one and the same. They help you with the insurance part and then resources that you would need on top of the insurance part. And we have ombudsmen that are in the office. Those are advocates for residents in long-term care facilities. And then we contract to do several other services, how we're in conjunction with Walt's program.
So tell me a little bit about all the programs you do then, leading right into that.
Okay, great. Well, besides the ones that I mentioned so far, we contract out for congregate meals and Meals on Wheels. So we obviously work with Walt real close. We're the pass-through entity for the funds to fund those two programs. We also have a home health care nurse, like we can use nursing care, or we could just do like homemaker services. A lot of our seniors just need a little bit of extra help with housekeeping, maybe fix a meal, or just real minor things, up to some skilled nursing care where they would go in and actually maybe administer the medicine or just check on them to make sure that they're taking their medications regularly. We do fund some transportation for senior programs, and we do a telecare program. That's where people make telephone calls and check on people at home that have probably just been dismissed from the hospital, just to check on them. And so that's like just different services throughout our service area that we contract to do.
Can you talk a little bit about who would be eligible to participate in these programs, and is there a cost? If so, what is that associated with the programs?
You know, we deal mostly with low-income seniors and adults with disabilities that are low-income also. So most of the services and resources that we provide the clients out there are not at any cost. Okay. And if there is some cost, it would be on a sliding scale. We also help people, though, that aren't low income with resources and that sort of thing, because I think Medicare, it is a tough nut to crack. And we have the experts in the area that can work their way through that maze for people. So not only do we help, you know, low income, we help just anybody who needs the help with that.
That's great. If I knew someone that was in need of help, could I call on their behalf?
Absolutely, absolutely. We do. We have a lot of family members or people that are concerned with maybe their neighbor who is maybe health is failing, and you know they're getting older and that sort of thing. We've had people call on their behalf. And we'll do some home visits for those who are in dire straits who can't make it into the office. So we can provide that type of service also.
And if someone is in need of assistance, how would they get a hold of you all?
Well, they would call the 1-800 number.
Okay. And I think we'll have that on our screen, so that would be great.
So if they would just call the 1-800 number, that would be great.
Yes.
And they can also reach us on the website, which is rmdc.net.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how many people do you all serve with these programs? Walter, maybe you know?
Walter has
Well,
meals.
We do well over 100,000 meals a year.
Wow, amazing.
Well over. In the different areas, the rural areas, we serve an awful lot of people, and distance is a definite problem with us, especially in the wintertime. But we have people that travel 20, 30, 50 miles a day delivering meals to individuals that live outside of our rural communities. We try not to turn anybody down. In fact, I refuse to turn anybody down. We'll do it somehow.
Good
we
news.
get them the food.
That's great.
It's pretty cool. People that want to help us can donate to us just through Rocky Mountain Development
Okay.
Council. We send them a letter. It's all tax deductible. Also through the United Way, we're one of the United Way agencies, and you can choose us for your donation, donor choice, when you go through the United Way. We have people that donate beef to us or wild game, which is wonderful. We always grind it all into hamburger because we use a lot of hamburger. The only stipulation with that is we have to have a certified processing plant do that. And if we'll also pay for the processing if they'll donate the meat to us, because it saves us a lot of money. It's just wonderful what people do out there. I have to go next week up almost between Shoto and Glendive to pick up 2 beef that have been ground up yesterday. And we've
That's
got
fantastic.
refrigeration, and we take care of the stuff. So. You can help your neighbor. If you know somebody that needs these programs, you could pay for their home delivered meals is huge. And we get people that do that, friends and families from all over the country. Believe me, we get checks from Florida
Unbelievable.
for family members that are paying for someone they know or whatever, a relative or a friend. So there's lots of ways that you can help us, and specifically food or financially helps out an awful lot.
Thank you so much. That is just, you two are doing amazing work. I want to thank you for being here. We're out of time. There's so much more information I know you have, and I know we'll have that information on the screen for our viewers. So thank you again. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
If you need assistance, please reach out. There's always a helpful hand reaching back. Until next week, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.